Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Param Ishvaro Guratmeti Mukti Veda Vibhagine Vyomabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sava Vedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanantam Satguru Pranatoshmaham Om Om Shanti 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 Om. Okay. We have Sylvia joining us on the name Nagar. Let's see if the internet here is going to hold both of us. We begin today. Oh, there is something here that we may enjoy. Enlightenment sickness. We heard about that before. Huh? And the problem is that they haven't found a vaccine against this enlightenment sickness yet in the market. So page 126. Is that? No. 127. The verse 47 to 51. A wise person who knows himself to be limitless awareness should keep the mind constantly united with awareness. To disturb the mind with many words is a waste of energy. Okay, scripture clearly says, know the self and give up speaking of other things. The mind of a willful person who does not follow scripture is either Rajasic or Tamasic. Rajas give rise to lust, anger, and other passions, and Tamas gives rise to daydreams. Before starting an inquiry into consciousness, Rajas and Tamas need to be properly managed because mental equipoise is a prerequisite for inquiry. The scripture says that someone subject to passion for objects or fantasy, meaning to say Rajas and Tamas, is not fit for self-knowledge and liberation. So we have 4 verses comprised in one, because they are all around the same theme. Yeah. So let's go slowly here. So a wise person who knows himself to be limitless awareness should keep the mind constantly united with consciousness, with awareness, with limitless consciousness, limitless awareness. So again, this verse by itself, it suggests a notion that one has to do something to unite with consciousness. If we stop there and the continuation of the subsequent verse do not clarify that. So here it says that a wise person who knows I am limitless consciousness, I keep my mind constantly united with consciousness. So the mind was never ununited, it was never apart or separate from consciousness, because the mind is fundamentally consciousness. So then we need to edit this passage and just bring in the Vedantic, Upanishadic words, or you say language, and says that the one who knows I am limitless consciousness, I keep my mind constantly firm with this understanding. I keep the knowledge firm, and I don't make effort to keep this knowledge constantly firm and clear, not subject to forgetfulness. I don't need to really do any more vigilance and discipline and effort to keep reminding myself or to keep this knowledge firmly established in my mind. It's all a question of knowledge, certainty, clarity of self-knowledge. Therefore, the wise person who knows I am limitless awareness, and this knowledge is doubtless, is firm, it's clear, it's not subject to forgetfulness either. And then my mind constantly holds this understanding at all times. Okay, so I have this knowledge, it is firm, there's no question of getting united. And the most we can say that the wise person who is working or have understood I am limitless awareness is invited to keep the mind associated with the scriptures that established the identity of Jivatma as Paramatma. When we say to keep the mind united or associated, it's associated with consciousness, with the scriptures, because you cannot associate with consciousness because you are consciousness. You cannot reunite with consciousness because you have always been consciousness. You have been consciousness at all times. It's just a question of replacing those ignorant notions about what you really are with the notions proposed by the Upanishads. And that's then it's just a change of program. Self-knowledge is not a reprogramming. A reprogramming is the base, is the platform, is the preparedness that we need to do. What kind of deprogramming or reprogramming we're talking here? We are talking about reprogramming your mind with thoughts and tendencies and mental impressions and subtle memories, based on the knowledge revealed by the scripture. So I have now a lot of vasanas, a lot of tendencies. My mind was properly reprogrammed, okay? But the reprogrammation of the mind does not translate as equal to self-knowledge. The reprogram of the mind is part of purification, preparing the mind. So that a prepared, reprogrammed mind, what it means, it's being fed by vasanas around these teachings, around these mahavakyas, around the teaching. It's the causal body is occupied with a lot of this nididhyasana thoughts. The nididhyasana naturally comes from those mental impressions in the subconscious mind, and there I have a lot of these Vedantic vrittis there. So, and then a mind is properly reprogrammed, because if the mind would be crowded with samsari thoughts, samsari desires and fears, okay? And then the mind is going to have a hard time to stay with the logic presented, and then a hard time to reflect and contemplate, and then a hard time to hold that knowledge, because you can come out of your contemplation saying, okay, I am clear, I am limitless consciousness, but then when you move out, your efforts are suspended, and then the causal body is going to be feeding into the conscious mind a lot again of wrong notions about what I am, okay? So, and then we need to do a sort of reprogramming when we say we needed to cultivate and develop vasanas around the teachings of the Upanishads. We need to have vasanas based on self-knowledge, self-inquiry. We don't want those vasanas totally based on self-ignorance, because they are going to create doubt again and again. Therefore, the reprogramming of the mind is an important stage, but it does not translate as a paroksha yana. Paroksha yana depends on a mind which is, I mean, very much influenced by self-inquiry and self-knowledge. Has been thinking about that to the extent that it has left a lot of good impressions, good thoughts, good breeds, okay, good tendencies, and so on. So just to make us this small distinction between reprogramming, as I said, and self-knowledge. So we keep the mind all the time on the scriptural knowledge, so that my mind is going to develop a lot of good spiritual Vedantic vasanas, which is going to be the proper platform on which I can get this clear, direct, immediate, simple knowledge, okay? So otherwise, if I disturb the mind with many words, is a waste of energy. So disturb the mind with many words, it means to say, if I disturb my mind around samsaric, mundane words, is a waste energy. If I keep disturbing my mind, which is not a disturbance, I keep crowding my mind with this intensity of self-investigation, self-inquiry, okay, and self-contemplation. If I have that kind of mental activity, I'm doing my nididhyasana. But if I disturb my mind with samsaric thoughts, and then of course it's a waste of energy. And then someone can come to me, like Mark told me the other day, but we need to find a balance. We need to be relating to samsara, to mithya as well, and having a lot of samsaric associations and so on. Yes, so to disturb the mind with many unnecessary samsaric interactions, samsaric words. There are some samsaric words that are necessary, such as in relation to our role as a professional, a provider, a family with your children, and so on. So there are a lot of thoughts which are not Vedantic thoughts, but they are necessary. We cannot say that is a waste of energy, because in order to live in this apparent order, we need to interact with our environment, and we need to proper exercise the roles our karma presents us with, okay? So what is going to disturb the mind are all those which are unnecessary. You know, So we mentioned that thing the other day when James used to say, I have only 5 minutes tolerance with samsara and their TTT. So I also have a very, very short tolerance with them. Yesterday I went out with Sylvan, and then when a group of people got us somehow, I tried to avoid them, got us somewhere for a few minutes. And then when you start the TTT, immediately I start getting a screwdriver and start doing something, pretending that I was busy so that I could escape the TTT, you know? So it's a waste of energy. So you just try to do something else with your mind. But you have to use words to live your life and to interact with your environment, you understand? So disturb the mind with these useless gossips, talks, or superficial chats and TTTs, you know, is a waste of energy for someone seeking or searching or aspiring to moksha, to self-knowledge and moksha. Of course it is. The scripture clearly says, know the self and give up speaking of other things. So it appears to be radical statements, and some people may feel like, oh my God, these guys, they are crazy. So I should know the self, and then I should never speak about other things. No, you can talk about other things, you know. Of course you can. I'm all the time talking here with my worker. He works 4 hours a day for me, about the situation here, the chicken and the other animals that threatening, and then the small little chicken that were born and how to protect them and the plants. And so we need to talk about practical things. Huh? So you don't give up speaking about other things unless you were born with a karma, such as the karma of Ramana Maharaj, that says, here I have no interest, I have no roles, I escaped my family, I escaped the school, I let a small note to my mother, and I don't want to deal with these people here in Tiruvannamalai, and then I'm going to look for a cave and stay away from these creatures, the so-called human beings. Okay, because they always want to chi, they want to talk about useless things. So if you were born with that kind of karma, that kind of vasana or tendency, such as Ramana, and then say, so I have known what was the only thing important to know here, that I'm not the body-mind, but I am limitless conscious existence. And I have no roles because I reject them from early age. And I don't want to talk about other things. But then he gave up, he surrendered to another karma that came into his life, which was the one to speak few words to the people who came to become his devotees. So the devotees want to say, wow, there is something about you, and I want to be like you. So please say something, And then he was there teaching, a silence, from silence, using silence, and then I feel messages here and there, as we know. So it's not that you are never going to speak, but you may decide not to speak. Like, who knows? You may decide, I'm done with all of that. I will never speak anymore. I mean, anything is possible in nature, as we know. Even someone like Laertes may have something and say, in this planet, I don't say a word anymore. Maybe in another planet, anything is possible. But generally speaking, you keep talking a little bit, but avoiding the useless, superficial, samsaric talks. And then another notion, another concept here on the following verse is the mind of a willful person, a person with a serious, with an intense desire and with focus and dedication, a mind with a willful person who knows what he's pursuing, her is pursuing, who does not follow the scripture, is either Rajasic or Tamasic. So now the mind of a willful person. So what is the meaning of this willful person? So because it's not where I was going with my interpretation. Can you help me?
Perhaps it just means willful in terms of turning away from the scripture, wanting, what the jiva wants instead of conforming to Shastra.
Willful,
I don't know.
Maybe it's trying to say that the mind of a desired, a person filled with desires, such a Rajasic mind, if it does not follow the scripture, it's going to be agitated, but then Tamasic. And then willful is not only about the desires of the Rajasic person. Any insight from you, Mark, on this wording here?
Well, you've more or less said it, Alan. I was going to say it's the mind of a person who wants to achieve things. That's how I would explain it.
Achieve things in the world, in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So a healthy samsari mind, let's say. So if you have a health body and a health mind, you have a lot going for you, So you have a health body and a health mind. A health mind is a mind that says, okay, I have desires and I have no problem to go for it. So if this person who is fit with a good body and a good mind does not bring the mind to scripture and follow the scripture, it's going to develop excess of rajas or excess of tamasic. Tamas. Why? Because the person is using its natural health, body mind, to go after objects proposed by Maya. And then if you take that and you ignore the scriptures, or for some karmic reason, the scripture does not come to you, okay? And then you are unavoidably, you're going to develop either a Rajasic mind, as we say, or a Tamasic mind. So does anybody have any doubt or question about that? That any person, any health body mind who does not get in contact with these scriptures on self-knowledge and moksha, invariably will develop a dominance, a predominance, an excess of Rajas or Tamas, and is going to live a Rajasic lifestyle or a Tamasic lifetime. So do you agree with that, Layat? How about you, Claudio?
I maybe can think that it depends also upon karma, maybe, because a person, of course, it's very 99% a person that it's in the world will develop a lot of Rajas and Tamas, but there can be maybe some possibilities that he starts to search scriptures, maybe. This is the only thought that comes to me now.
Yeah, if he is very active in his life or her life, but he comes in contact with karma, dharma, yoga, yeah, and then he may find a good balance between Rajas and Sattva, Tamas and Sattva. You understand? So because he's acting, even if he's very intense, he has an intense lifestyle, but he's neutralizing stress or excess of mental agitation with the spirit of Gami Yoga. Yeah? So it's a way to be preparing the mind, but for self-inquiry and self-knowledge. Yeah? But if the person is not in contact with neither the scriptures of karma, dharma, and moksha, no, it's going to in general develop a more Rajasic or a dominant Rajasic mind or a Tamasic mind. And of course, there are some people who have a Sattvic mind. We need to make an exception here to accommodate also Claudio's observation. So there are some people who have brilliant scientific minds. And these people, a lot of them are scientists, but true scientists, not corrupt scientists. So we have some examples of people who are brilliant, and they have a lot of sattva guna going for them. So they are not as Rajasic and much less Tamasic. They are sattvic mind, okay? But they may not be interested in the scriptures on self-knowledge, or neither the scriptures on karma dharma. They may be interested in knowledge, in scientific knowledge, objective knowledge, okay? Although they are having a mind dominated by sattva guna, you understand? So what makes the difference? The person is very sattvic, but it's not interested in self-knowledge. Some other people are very sattvic and they are interested in self-knowledge. What determines this difference? You know, both sattvic minds, and one wants to inquire into the nature of the self, and the other wants to inquire into the nature of mithya. What is the difference there? Is the one is very sattvic, but it is attracted to phenomenal object, and the other is very sattvic, but it has introspection, vasana or contemplation vasana that compels him or her to investigate the nature of the mind, investigate the nature of human consciousness, and then to go enter the universe of Vedanta. So it's the direction. The mind is sattvic, but there is an extroversion vasana and there is an introverted vasana, which is a spiritual vasana that could become Vedantic vasana, which is different from the yogic vasana. The yogi can have a contemplative mind, but all he wants is to experience shanti, peace, and silence. Yeah? And the Vedantine wants to know more than that. He wants to know the truth, what I am, and what is the purpose of this life. I'm not here just to enjoy silence, because I have seen the limitations of silence. Silence depends on a certain condition of my mind, and I want to know something that liberates me from anything that changes. So different aspects of someone with a sattvic mind, but different loads or vasanas in nature, they are different. And then here it continues saying that Rajas gives rise to lust, anger, and other passions, and Tamas gives rise to apathy, depression, and daydream. So the daydreams is very common on Tamasic people, because since they don't have the energy, the Rajas, to go into the world and play by the rules and chase and pursue whatsoever goals or desires they have, if they don't have the necessary energy, so they want to enjoy some of those objects of desire. And then they start dreaming, if and when I get this, I get that, okay? So once I get a new home, once I get a new car, once I get a new relationship, and then they sit on their energy and they keep enjoying a certain degree of satisfaction. It's the idea of priya moda. So just the imagination to some can give them a certain level of satisfaction, the imagination that things are going to be wonderful, because sooner or later I'm going to win the lottery ticket, and then what I'm going to do with all that money? I'm going to buy this and buy that, I'm going to travel. So these are the daydreamers, that they are mostly, in most cases, they are Tamasic people. Okay, and then he changed now, and he started talking now about the preconditions to begin this inquiry. Before starting this investigation into the nature of consciousness, Rajas and Tamas need to be managed properly, because this mental condition, mental equipoise. What is the meaning of equipoise? It's a mental balance, or mental equilibrium, or mental purification, or something on those lines. I don't know exactly what is the pose. There is a pose there, which most probably means a mind which is equanimous, which is balanced, which is, what do you think, Lynn?
I think that's precisely it.
Okay, Ranjit sometimes likes to pull these words to make his rights more sophisticated. Rajas and Tamas need to be properly managed, because the mental purity is a prerequisite for inquiry, for self-inquiry. So the mind needs to be prepared, refined, purified. And for that, you need to convert Tamas into Rajas in the first stage, and then Rajas into Sattva, as we know. Okay? Why I'm saying that? Because it's impossible to convert Tamoguna into Sattva Guna. Okay? The scriptures say that, and the scriptures and our teachers, our gurus, also comment on that here and there. When you have a very Tamasic mental condition, you need somehow to exchange that, or to convert that in some energy, some rajas. Why? Without energy, you cannot do anything. You cannot even bring about the betterment into your mind, mental state. So we need rajas to do our self-inquiry. Without rajas, we cannot go for that understanding, okay? It is a mental activity. Contemplation requires a lot of sattva, but it has to be backed up by rajoguna energy. You understand? So, what is the difference between a person who is very contemplative and a person who has a good mind but is lazy somehow? You know, so you may have a lot of rajas sattva playing for you, but you need rajas to do something with that sattva as well. So we have a mind which needs to be refined and polished, and it means to say rajas and tamas needs to give room for more sattva. This is what is said to be gunas management according to the book of Ramji, as we know. He wrote a book together with his wife some time ago, Sundari, but in the end it was his book. But about that, how to manage these three gunas, okay? So I never got really much excited about that teaching, because a lot of people are getting the idea that mentally they could manage their gunas, okay? Oh, no, my mind is too Rajasic. Okay, let me pull some sattva now. Oh, my mind is too Tamasic. Oh, let me pull some rajas from somewhere. You understand? So this idea of mentally having the power to change your mental configuration, I felt it was giving us a sensation to people that now I know how the equation works. All I have to do is to take from here and add there, and then mentally I have a sattvic mind. It's much more complex than just that. Okay. To manage the gunas, you have to manage your lifestyle to begin with, your values, environment, so that you start living in an environment, guided by higher sattvic, dharmic values, and then your actions are going to be permeated by sattva guna. Your vasana is going to be, growing with this fragrance of sattva guna, with clarities and so it is a process that involves a lot of other factors that begins with lifestyle, as later on Sundari present in her book about lifestyles and so on. You understand? So, but guna management here, it means to say I need to begin cultivating more sattva guna. And I am a Rajasic person. Good. That's the best thing, to be Rajasic. So now you need to begin converting some of these rajas into sattva. How are you going to do that? Association with sattvic people, association with the scriptures on self-knowledge, okay? Association with a sattvic environment, association with the scriptures, which is, more sattvic than the revealing scriptures, in terms of words or literature to be read and studied. So this association is the way we're going to cultivate and develop more sattva guna. It does not happen a click of our fingers, okay? It happens as a process. Gradually, we begin cultivating, developed, a sattvic lifestyle. I'm going to replace my associations. I'm going to move away, if possible, whenever possible, from Rajasic and Tamasic people. I move away from them. But they are my friends since my childhood. They say, so what? Okay, so what? So you want self-knowledge, you need to prepare your mind. You need to manage these gunas. And that begins with selecting your environment. So you probably heard saying that. So don't associate with Rajasic people, and much less with Tamasic people, okay? Because the mind is in the field of mithya, in which everything is impact everything else. Okay, so you want to have association with the scriptures, with the guru, with people who are interested in self-knowledge, and avoid the association with people who are totally materialistic and samsaric, extremely Rajasic, only thinking of money, power, and prestige, and this and that, and much less with depressed people. Oh, but this is cruel, you know. I have a sister who is depressed, and so I know I cannot help her. She's far unqualified to get any help from me. You understand? So I just stay away. If I cannot help someone, I stay away. Someone does not want help, I stay away. Why I should associate with someone who has a depressed mind, who is going to be all the time, and not only that, oh, why you don't come to visit me, you don't talk to me, you don't call me, you know, and charging you for not being there, you know, appreciating someone in such a poor, you know, depressed, apathic condition. And if you know that nobody can do anything to anybody else, why do you get involved with that environment? It has an impact in all of us. You think that I'm being cruel? Please tell me. You did not hear me, huh? Okay.
I have a similar situation that I've walked into. I have a sister who, when we were describing the Tamasic person who fantasizes and stuff, she goes on websites to look at real estate ads all the time and fantasizes about winning the lottery and where she would move. And it's always a huge mansion. It's pitiful. And I'm going to be traveling to be there for a week coming up at the end of the month. So I know the dilemma. I feel you. Yeah.
Well, but
what can you do? I mean,
yeah.
they come, you know, this is, if I had to limit myself to, well, I limit myself to people who are primarily sattvic, but have sometimes a lot of rajas or a lot of tamas. What can you do?
Yeah.
This is the way we come.
Yeah. Well, there are other factors involved. Sometimes for karmic reasons, you have to associate, for example, with your mother. And your mother is very Tamasic, and then you have to, you know that the only thing there is your dharma, your swadharma as a son, But in many other cases, your case does not seem to be as extreme as the one I was mentioning with my sister, because when you have somebody who is totally depressed and taking things, my brother was in that condition and he ended up dying, and the beginning we tried to help, and then clearly it became clear to us that he was beyond the possibility to be helped. His mind was kaput and he ended up dying. So when it's not really our duty, okay, and you see that you cannot do anything to somebody else, why not to do something a little bit more productive to yourself and the others around you, So you want to offer a contribution, okay? Isn't it? Because a lot of the times we fall into those traps out of guilt. Oh, yes. Because these people, they keep, trying to hook people, say, oh, you are not giving all the attention that I need, and so on. But anyhow, we need to avoid Rajas and Tamas so that we can manage cultivating, developing these gunas, which is quite a work. It's quite a work. It cannot be done like that, understanding the rationale of the three energies and their nature. And then you say, okay, No, there is a lot to it. It is a prerequisite for self-inquiry, this cultivation of a sattvic mind. Spiritual says that someone subject to passion for objects or fantasy is not fit for liberation. So all our scriptures say that. And then you have to see the role of each one of us, okay? So what the best you can do with your time? I have someone who recently kind of nicely criticized me because I'm too busy with these things here in my land. And the person very nicely present to me that maybe I should be involved with my superior dharma, which is sharing the knowledge more, and less with having chicken and this and that and working the land. Okay, and I had to hear the person and say, yes, maybe you have a point. Okay, it's definitely my superior swadharma. Okay, but at the same time, nobody wants it. Okay, I put the classes in the internet and nobody sees it, nobody cares because there are no customers, for self-inquiry and self-knowledge. If I would have a lot of people, and then I agree, okay, now I have to get busy with what is most productive in terms of what I can contribute to the world. You understand? But as we know, even there in Vedanta Brazil, just about 15, at the most 20 people, Saturday and Sunday, and the rest is all in the hands of Ishwara. No? So if I try to do an extra class there as well, and then people are not going to show up, they are too busy. Anyhow, we need to understand what is the best way we can live our life and spend our time. And the first thing is I need to help myself before I try to help others. I need to get this, clear, firm, and doubtless understanding in regards to my true nature, identity. Only then maybe I can effectively help someone, unless my father is 92. If tomorrow my brother is tired of looking after him, which I believe will never happen. And then I told my brother, send it to me. And then I would do my duty. But I'm hoping that it will never happen, okay? Because I would prefer not to take care of my dying father or my old father, that now he creates so much trouble. And my brother enjoys that, okay? He because sometimes I play to say, no, I go there, I take father here. I say, no, don't take father there. And then because people get attached to their karmas as well. Huh? Okie dokie. We have no doubt. Passion is highly rated in samsara. You have to have a lot of passion for objects, And but as we know, passion is not as good as shanti, a peaceful mind, contemplative mind, is the way to be prepared for self-inquiry. So the following 52 to 54, if you don't want liberation, and if you die with desires, you may go to heaven, but you will eventually find heavenly pleasures defective and come back here. So why not let go of your desires now? But if you claim to be free and still indulge your desires, you are deluded. I love this one. So a lot of people have this concern. I'm doing a lot of work, 20, 30, 40 years doing my self-inquiry, and I'm not clear, and I can't really claim the fact that I am limitless consciousness. I still believe that I am the body-mind. Okay, there is still some ignorance operating, and I'm afraid if I die, I have wasted my life with self-inquiry, and I could be there chasing objects in samsara and getting small little bits and pieces of defect joy here and there. A lot of people have this consideration. So if I don't make it, I could have had a life, enjoy some sensory pleasures and some material gains, which is better than nothing. And I'm here now doing self-inquiry, and I'm poor. My bank account is very low. Huh? So some people, they will have this concern. And then if I die, I waste my life. No, you have not wasted your life at all. Huh? You will get not only a better transition between two births. The scriptures say that there is a transition on which you stay somewhere in one of these locus. And these locus, the superior locus, are said to be heavens, a celestial locus. And there you're going to enjoy a lot of punya in a kind of a dream state. Okay, so you're going to be there, enjoy some of these locus, heavenly locus. But then he says here, now that you will eventually find these heavenly pleasures defective. So there are two ways to look at that. This gives us the impression that the soul is there and consciously is having an experience and finding it defected and limited, okay? Which is a stretch, because the soul is not really self-conscious as an experience entity according to Vedanta without the association with the physical instruments of experience and reception. The five senses with our physical instruments, the physical instruments of reception, the physical instruments of actions need to be present so that I can enjoy, punya on this material realm. Okay, I'm really enjoying my life. Sensory, I have punya, and I was born in a wealth family and on a spiritual family. I have no worries, no concern. My life is heaven on earth. Okay, so there we say we are really enjoy our punya. And then here and only here, I have the ability to find the limitations and defects of enjoying punya karma. You understand? Because here I am connecting the dots. I'm living objective reality, between myself and the Dharma field. And through my experience, I start connecting the dots. And I say, well, I'm enjoying a very, very blessed life, like Buddha. Buddha left the palace. He had all the luxuries, all the material punya possibly imaginable, and still he found defects and limitations on that. Once he had to go outside of the palace, he escaped the palace against the will of his father, and then immediately he started questioning. He said, "No, I want something that is not defect. I want really what these sannyasis, these sages, are supposed to get when they get enlightened." So, as they used to say. So when we are there, in one of those locus, so it's not that I really feel like, oh no, I'm done with it. No, it's said that the punya exhausts themselves in those celestial locus. Okay, the papas exhaust themselves in the bad locus. The papas are like bad dreams, nightmares. Okay, the mind is going to suffer its mental content in one of those lower locus, and the mind is going to enjoy these celestial dreams in the superior locus, but they exhaust themselves because your vasanas, as they project the circumstance of these heavenly pleasures, it's projecting, and it starts fading because it's not in the Vyavaharika producing more vasanas of that nature. You have to come back here to cultivate more punya, you understand? Through your actions, your interaction, and then you are producing vasanas, you're producing, punya, vasanas, good vasanas, okay? So there you are not producing vasanas anymore. You are doing what? You are spending your fortune. It's like someone who saves a lot of money. And then after 15, 20, 30, 40 years, spends everything here. And now I have lost everything and I have no money left. Of course, if you spend without making it or without producing, it comes a time that you exhaust your savings. So when we go into these lokas, we are not producing punya, we exhaust punya. When we go into inferior lokas, we are not producing papa karma, okay? We are exhausting papa karma. And then when we exhaust enough the papa karma, when we exhaust enough of our punya karma, and then the soul is said to be read for another round in here, on which it goes through the same process of using the vasana load that brings us here, and from here we have another opportunity. Opportunity of what? Of developing sattva guna, good vasanas, good punya karma, but not for the sake of enjoy the pleasures of punya, but for the sake of using your punya karma to do your self-inquiry and to get your self-knowledge. You understand? There is no punya karma superior to spiritual punya karma. You understand? Correct? Anything from you guys?
If we use our punya karma between reincarnations, or our papa karma, when we're reborn in this dharma field, planet Earth, so to speak, how is our karma going to be worked out? Because it's not going to coincide with the karma we created in the last life, because we've already used either the negative or the positive karma. So then do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because,
well, you have to, I mean, if you have a lot of papa and you leave your body, you have to pay your debts, okay? So you're going to suffer papa karma in a mental, emotional level, okay? It's like going through a nightmare. And then you exhaust the excess, okay, of your papa karma, okay? And then whatsoever is left, you're gonna have some punya, some papa, like everybody, you know? You're gonna have a mixture. Everybody comes with punya papa. And then you come back, you already pay some of your debts. You paid in one of these lokas, inferior law. You already paid. Papa produced suffering. You already paid. So the soul is somehow purified between this process of paying its karmas. You understand? We pay karma here, we pay karma in between births, and we enjoy punyas, you know, but then the punya exhausts the same way the papa exhausts, and then we come back with our bag of punya and papa. So when we come here, the papas that we get in this life, the adversities, the difficult situations and circumstances, you know, are going to be part of my papas that I still need to exhaust. You understand? And then if I come here from one of the highest celestial, I'm going to come here after having enjoyed mentally, emotionally. So that mental condition, I come here still with a mind more conditioned by punya, you understand? But then here I have the chance to do what? I want punya not to say for the sake of enjoy heavenly pleasures. I want punya for the sake of having a proper environment on which I can get self-knowledge and get out of this samsara karma. You understand? Samsara chakra. So you come back here with whatsoever you have left of your punya karma. It will all come with punya and karma. And we pay some of our debts on that realm, the mental and more. And then we come back in here. If still I have to pay more of my sins, to pay for my sins, you understand? You come in here and you're going to go through a lot of adversities that may give you the possibility to understand that violation of the Dharma is not the way to go. You understand? Because we can never escape these karmic laws. Okay, what we seed, we're going to how you say?
What we sow, we receive. Yeah. So basically, we've just used the excess.
Yes,
And we come back
that's
with more. Okay.
that's what the scripture says. So you're going to go there, exhaust some, and then you come with your punya papa, and then you're going to be given another circumstance according to your bag of punya papa. Okay, and then we have to look from life to life into this from this angle. So whatsoever adversities, we say, okay, it's all right. I'm exhausting some of my papas still. You understand? I had to exhaust a lot of papas in my childhood and youth. And then it's okay. You exhaust, you develop some punya as well on the way, and then life goes on, and we are here to learn. Okay, carry on here to conclude this class of today. It's not that you're going to be there and determine that these heavenly pleasures are not the real deal, and I want to go down to earth again, down to density again. No, I'm going to come back naturally, okay? The system is going to send me back once I have somehow paid some of my karmas or enjoyed some of my karmas. And then Ishwara decides like, okay, it's time for you to have another round, and let's see if you're going to grow, if you're going to elevate yourself in the next birth, okay? So we ascend back here, we come back here, on the account of our punya papa, okay? So we come back here. So why not to let go of your desires now? So this is a challenging question, because it's trying to say, if you have desires and fears, these desires and fears are going to take you there and going to bring you back. So you want to get out of the game, and then give up desires and fears, desires and aversions. And first of all, most people do not want to get out of the game. Most people want to have a better birth, a better circumstance. For the people in India who believes in reincarnation big time, they want a better life, a better opportunity, next life, and so on. Because people, they attach to experience, to life. Huh? So when you say to someone, why not to let go of desires and aversions now? You're talking to a Vedantin who really wants to get out of the samsara chakra. Huh? So don't believe that only punya is going to liberate you, because you're going to exhaust your savings there and you're going to be sent back here until you give up desires for objects as a means to resolve and complete and satisfy yourself. So get to the knowledge, get to understand that you are full and complete as you are, as conscious existence, and then that understanding is going to neutralize your desires and fears. And do it now. Huh? Do it now. So we try to do it now, but we know that this now, although it isn't now, a sudden now, when the final understanding comes, it depends on a certain process, gradual process of preparing the mind so that we give up our desires. When we say giving up desires, most importantly, giving up the identification as with my desires, identification as the one who is desiring, okay? Because in that way, if a desire comes, you have the power, the strength to say no to desire. You understand? Say, no. I'm already whole, full, and complete. I don't need anything, and nothing can add anything to me or subtract anything to me. So I have the knowledge, and then I'm saying no to desires, okay, because I got this knowledge. So meaning to say, go for self-inquiry, to self-knowledge in this lifestyle, because otherwise you're gonna go to one of these lockers and be back here once you exhaust some of your punya papa. But this is only for the rare individuals who wants moksha. Moksha is supposedly is the end of the cycle of reincarnation. Why? Because there is nothing here for me anymore. You understand? Oh, no, I want to come back but I want life to be even more permeated by punya next time. I want to be born as a king with all the power, with all kinds of sensory pleasures, because this now is my desire. Well, I want to come back as a famous guru, you understand? And then you may come as a famous guru. Huh? But now, if I have no desire, so why Ishwara is going to send me back? Huh? Unless Ishwara believes that, no, you don't want to go back, I'm going to send you back so that you can do something to help the other guys down there. Huh? So give up your desires, give up your chasing objects, which is a sign of ignorance in operation. But if you claim to be free, but you still indulge your desires, you are deluded, you know. And it could apply the word you are hypocrite. How you say hypocrite? And that most probably takes us into the subject called Enlightenment Sickness. It was the title given by Ramji here for the following verse. If you claim to be free, but you find yourself chasing objects of desire, getting involved and getting all agitated, you're deluding yourself. You know? And it's not uncommon to have people who believes that enlightenment is only intellectual understanding that does not need to neutralize the sense of ownership, doership, and the desires for sensory pleasures. No, I know already, it doesn't matter. Let the body mind enjoy the desires, let the body mind suffer, you know, the frustrations when things are not favorable. Because my knowledge is already firm. So the knowledge is firm only when it neutralizes ignorance to a large extent. Understand? If not completely, at least it gives the power to the yoni to filter those desiring notions and ideas anytime and every time the vasanas show up to say, oh, yes, but I know that now you are yoni, but how about be a yoni and have a perfect life, you know, a perfect home, a perfect, you know, person next to you, and so on, you know, a lot of money. Why not to add up some more punya in your spiritual punya? And that's how people get deluded and trapped. And hopefully, they sooner or later, they realize that their knowledge was not really internalized and did not transform his life to begin with, or her life. Okie dokie. Again, I apologize for my delay today. And I have an excuse. Today is my birthday. Yesterday, I went out with Sylvia and we did a few things, and then we came back here, and I have other things to deal. I forgot a few things, but now I'm staying here, and I meet you guys on Thursday, okay? To give continuation to our Drisha. Anything from you guys? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, my friends. Namaste. Goodbye. Arrivederci. See you soon again.
Happy birthday for you, right?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will pass
Happy
it on.
birthday.
I will pass it to the elements here. Okie dokie. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Arlindo.
Ciao.
Thanks, Alinda. Bye now.